What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. NFL Cowboys news today. We've got an exciting and potentially explosive topic on the table for discussion. Zack Martin, one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, is under the spotlight. But is he done? Or can we expect more from him? And here's the big one: could Zack Martin be traded for none other than Myles Garrett? Yeah, you heard that right. We're diving into trade rumors, career trajectories, and the future of two of the biggest stars in the NFL. Before we even think about trades, let's take a step back and look at who Zack Martin really is. We all know him as a stalwart of the Dallas Cowboys offensive line, and over the years, he's proven time and time again that he is one of the most dominant interior offensive linemen in the NFL. Drafted in 2014 with the 16th overall pick, Martin came into the NFL with immediate expectations. He lived up to those expectations and more. He's been a multi-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro, and his consistency on the field has been nothing short of extraordinary. Whether it's protecting Dak Prescott or opening up lanes for the running game, Martin's presence has been integral to the success of this offense. But here's the thing: he's not getting any younger. As the years go by, questions inevitably arise: how long can he keep this level of performance up? And with the Cowboys looking to the future, could they decide to move on from the 33-year-old guard, even if he's not done just yet? Now, let's talk about where Zack Martin currently stands in terms of performance. Is he still playing at that elite level we've come to expect, or are there signs of decline? We've seen a few signs of wear and tear in recent years. But what's the real story? Over the past few seasons, Martin has had some injury concerns, especially with nagging lower body issues. These aren't necessarily major injuries, but they do raise concerns about his longevity in the league. Yet, even with those issues, when he's healthy, Martin is still regarded as one of the best in the business. He's also been able to maintain his status as a top-tier lineman despite these challenges, which is something not every player in the league can do. Martin is still a dominant force in the run game. He consistently moves defenders off the ball, and that's something you don't find just anywhere. His pass protection? It's still elite. And as a leader in the locker room, he remains one of the most respected figures within the Cowboys organization. But with the way the NFL is evolving, with offensive lines becoming more athletic and versatile, can Martin keep up with the newer wave of younger, faster, and more dynamic defensive lines? That's the big question that the Cowboys might be asking themselves right now. Okay, now let's get into the juicy part of this discussion. The rumors swirling around Zack Martin's future with the Cowboys and the potential for a trade are getting louder. And guess who's been linked to him in recent trade rumors? Myles Garrett. Yes, the Cleveland Browns star defensive end, Myles Garrett. So, let's ask the big question: could Zack Martin be traded for Myles Garrett? Let's break it down. We know the Cleveland Browns have a top-tier defensive line, but their offensive line has been struggling in recent years. If the Browns were willing to part with Garrett, would the Cowboys entertain the idea of adding a dominant pass rusher like him in exchange for one of their best defensive linemen? Myles Garrett is a game-changer. He's an absolute force off the edge, with the ability to disrupt the quarterback on nearly every play. He's a two-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro, and he's been the cornerstone of the Browns' defense for years. But here's the catch: Garrett's dominance on defense could be just what the Cowboys need. The Cowboys' defense has seen significant improvement under defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, but adding a player of Garrett's caliber could elevate this unit even further. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' offensive line, led by Zack Martin, has been the backbone of their offense for years. Would the Cowboys be willing to move one of their most valuable players to strengthen their defense even more? The Cowboys have always been known for their strong offensive line. But as the team looks to retool and build for the future, could the Cowboys consider moving on from Zack Martin? The trade rumors aren't just coming from nowhere, they're based on some key factors. First off, the Cowboys are deep at the offensive line position. They've drafted younger linemen, and some of these players, like Tyler Smith, have shown potential to be future stars. The Cowboys could view this as an opportunity to trade an aging star in Martin for a younger, elite talent on the other side of the ball. Tyler Smith has the potential to eventually step into a starting role, and with his versatility, he could take over the left guard spot or even play tackle. The Cowboys could also focus on improving their defense, which has been solid but could use a game-changing pass rusher like Garrett. But it's not that simple. Martin's leadership and experience are huge factors. If the Cowboys were to move on from him, they would be losing more than just a player, they'd be losing a core leader in the locker room. Would the Browns be willing to give up their star defensive player for an offensive lineman who's getting older? Or would they need to throw in a draft pick or two to make this deal work? A trade like this would have massive implications on both teams. Both teams are in win-now modes, but they're on different sides of the ball. The Cowboys would be looking at a potential upgrade to a defensive line that has already improved but could be one dominant edge rusher away from elite status. Meanwhile, the Browns would gain an all-pro guard who could solidify their offensive line and provide protection for Deshaun Watson. So, after everything we've discussed, is this trade even realistic? On paper, it's a tantalizing idea. Both teams could get what they need, and it could change the landscape of both the Cowboys and the Browns. But there are a lot of factors to consider. Salary cap space, team needs, and the long-term future of both franchises will all play a huge role in whether this trade could ever happen. At the end of the day, it comes down to what each team values more: a dominant defensive lineman who has been the heart of the offense for years, or a game-changing defensive player who could instantly elevate the pass rush. So, what do you think? Would a trade between the Cowboys and Browns for Zack Martin and Myles Garrett make sense? Would you pull the trigger on this deal? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more NFL trade talks and news. If you want to see more content like this, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest updates.